What's your favorite curse word, Grandpa?
Doggone it. Doggone it. Doggone it. Doggone it. Doggone it. Doggone it. Doggone it.
Podcasting will be a thrill. Grandpa and Chill, grandson and friends. Grandpa and Chill in full effect. We talk about it all, yeah, put it all on the set with that pet craze too. We chillin' with Rosie, comfortable, stay tuned, yeah, listen closely. Cause this the millennials and the silent generation coming together, discussion in rotation. This is Grandpa and Chill.
Okay. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Grandpa and Chill. I'm here with my amazing millennial co-host.
Phines. Hello.
My old, beautiful co-host.
Grandpa?
And our amazing producer, as always.
Me. Welcome, everyone.
Today we have on a very special guest, former child star Olivia Barash.
Oh no. I think I turned my mic off.
Hello.
Am I on? Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
Hello. How's it going? Hey.
Olivia,
Hello.
how you been?
I've been okay. Where are you?
I'm in Atlanta right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is everybody. Olivia, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Everyone.
Glad to
Where
have
are
you.
you?
Hey.
Are you guys in Atlanta also?
Oh, no.
Oh no, we're scattered about.
Really?
You're in LA?
Yes, I am in LA. I'm in Los Feliz.
What is that?
How's the place going? Is everything good?
It's really good. I'm still unpacking stuff. I'm still organizing it, but it's good.
Good.
It's a little loud. I'm on Vermont. It's kind of loud, but otherwise it's cool.
Yeah, Grandpa lived in LA for a period of time.
Oh, where?
When did you say, Olivia?
Where?
I lived, I guess,
What?
in I'm going to say the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What part?
What area?
I
What
lived
area?
in, right on Franklin Avenue, is it? Which is right in Hollywood, and
That's close to me.
yeah, and I also lived for a while in Palm Springs, but
Oh, I like Palm
yeah, it's
Springs.
real nice. And I lived in
And
Brentwood for a while.
I used to live in Brentwood.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in Brentwood. I went to Marymount. I went to Marymount Junior School in Brentwood. So that was my Brentwood days when I first came out to LA from New
Yeah.
York.
What's like Brentwood? What's comparable like in New York?
It's kind of like the country, but it's not. It's very nice. It's very high end.
Oh, okay.
It's like the Pacific Palisades in Brentwood, really beautiful homes, you know. And I was on the edge. I was in the townhome on the edge of Brentwood. And I went. It was near the beach. I could skateboard. I could ride my bike with my surfboard under my arm to the beach. It was like 20 blocks a mile.
Wow.
Yeah.
How's Los Feliz treating you?
It's okay. It's a little bit. I can't ride my bike too well because it's hills,
Yeah.
you know. So I'd rather. I mean, I like being in Venice because it's all like, you know, right there. But it's the area is really cool. It's really interesting. I have to explore more. I haven't gone out that much. I stay on my block. I just found out that around the corner on Hollywood Boulevard, it's completely fixed up, and it's like totally trendy. It's like the Uber Trendyville around the corner.
Yeah.
And I found the Go Get 'Em Tiger is there. It's like a really good coffee house. And
Oh, sick. Hollywood
Yeah.
Boulevard. That's like with the stars on the streets and everything.
yeah, but not this. But this not this part. This is like Silver Lake, Los Feliz.
Oh, okay.
So it's like at the end, and also the Conservatory of Music, the Silver Lake Conservatory of Music is right around the corner. They moved it, and Flea owns it, and from the Chili Peppers, and Norwood, from Fishbone. And yeah, and it's all my friends, and they teach music there.
And you know these people personally, right? Like,
yeah, I kind of grew up with them. Yeah.
You grew up with Flea from the Shirley
out here, yeah, because it was high school. Yeah, around high school.
Did he always have his shirt off in high school?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks the same. He's the same.
Yeah. What school did you go to in high school?
I went to a few different schools, a couple. I tried to go to Pacific Palisades High School. That was the public school that I wanted to go to, and I only was there like a year or a semester because I had this acting career, and if I was absent for any of the exams, they'd fail me.
Sure.
Like you can't do it. So I went to private school in the Valley called Valley Professional School, and Janet Jackson was in my class. And who else was in my class? It was just like eight kids. That was it. Eight kids.
So you were like friendly with, you like knew her very well.
Yeah, we used to drive her home because her parents used to leave her at school.
Oh, wow.
her parents kind of, yeah. It was very, very small school. And then also we also had school in Santa Monica sometimes at the ice skating rink.
Yeah. Because
we had skaters there from the Olympics.
Wow.
And so we would have school at the ice skating rink.
So I sort of know the story, but for everybody else, like, what's your background? Like, how'd you get into acting and such a crazy life at such a young age?
Well, let's see. I was really young. I started with dancing class. Like, I think I was 3 in dancing class. I took ballet. And then my mom took me to dancing school in New York. And I don't know how she knew. I don't think she knew it was so happening. It was this guy named Phil Black. And I swear everybody went to that dancing school. From like Irene Cara, she was in Fame. She did, she became a big music star, and like all these famous, all the Broadway children went there, and then I wanted to do. I took tap, ballet, and jazz, and I was around 5 years old, and well, it happened one night before I was in class. I was sick, and I got to lay in bed with my mom like really late at night, and a commercial came on the TV for Johnson & Johnson baby shampoo, and there's a little girl my age, and her hair was being brushed by her mom, and I looked at my mom and I said, I want to be in the TV like that. And because it was late, I thought she really got to stay up late all the time, and that's why I wanted to be on TV. So I went to school, dancing school, and all the kids were on TV, and so I said to my mom, I want to do commercials, and she got an agent for me from there, and I got my first I just got commercials all the time.
Like right away, right?
Right away.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I sang, and I sang and I danced, and because in New York it's different. I think it's really great. I mean, from my experience, it's great to come up as an actor in New York.
Phines is in New York right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go. Where? What part?
Astoria, Queens.
I used to live in Queens. I lived in Forest Hills, Queens.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, not too far.
Yeah.
You when did you leave to go to California?
I left in
what age?
I left at 11, and I really I grew up out here, but I grew up both places, Wow. I grew up till I was 11. I worked as an actress in New York from 5 to 11 years old, and I did Gypsy with Angela Lansbury. I did shows, and I did some soap operas, and then what happened was Ann Miller, the tap dancer, she's from the 1940s. I did a show with her. I played the little girl, and she and my mom became really good friends, and she told my mom that I had done everything I could do in New York and that I need to move to California. And because she was going back there. And so she took us, she hosted us. I came to California and I just didn't stop working. It was it was I was on, people say they grew up watching me on TV. I was on all the shows. Like I played everybody's girlfriend on the shows, and then I had my own series. And then you couldn't do movies in that era until you were 18. They wanted you to be 18 years old. Mm-hmm. So then once I think the thing that made me it escalated my career was Little House on the Prairie. I did 2 episodes of the Little House, and I was supposed to be a regular on it. I was cast as a regular, but they did an audience survey, and my character kind of outdid Melissa Gilbert. It was too much. I got killed in the end. I got killed in the second episode, but it was a very poignant. It was a really memorable episodes. My character got raped on the prairie, which was so unusual for that show, And I remember my best friend called me crying, everybody really believed I died, and
Oh.
Yeah. And so I did that, and then I was considered for an Emmy nomination, and my parents, we didn't know how to parlay things into that. I was still a kid, but I got that letter. I remember that, and then I did a lot of TV shows, and then I started doing film at 18. I was actually 17 when I was cast in Repo Man, but at 18 I started. And yeah, and then I did a few films, and I did Fame, the TV show Fame, and then I was done. I was retired. I didn't want to do it anymore. I wanted to be a kid. I didn't really have the childhood, and
yeah.
And then I got into music. I went into the music industry and put songs in films and was signed to Warner Brothers. I had a big life so far,
Yeah.
Olivia, you say that you got involved in the music industry in what capacity or in what?
I was a singer songwriter, and I played guitar. I played piano. I played piano as a child. I took piano lessons at Carnegie Hall. I left that out. That was when I was 5 also. So I was really musical. That was the thing. That was my gift. I mean, acting was too, but my real passion was with music. And so I got signed as a songwriter to Warner Chappell.
Wow.
At 22 or 23. And it was they don't do deals like that anymore. I was unknown as a singer at that point, and it was a very lucrative. They gave me a lot of money, and they kept me. I didn't sign to a record label yet. I did really great stuff. I toured with Debbie Harry from Blondie. I toured with John Joe. I got on really great tours, and I got to play songs in really good movies. I had a song in the Doors movie, in Oliver Stone's movie, and and then I fell in love with my record producer, and that's what happened. And then I quit. I was going to get married, and I quit the business all the way around to be his wife, to be a housewife. And I maybe shouldn't have done that, but it was my break. I took a little break,
Yeah. Well, and you have so many questions. Let me. I'll start from the early first questions. How do you? How is it being from the East and the West Coast? I guess is the easy one. They get. I guess my questions get more into it as you asking it, but that was my first one.
I always miss New York. I always want to be back there. Still, I went back there when I was 19, but before I turned 19, I moved to London. I didn't leave that place.
Wow.
So I did that when I was 17. I have a weird story. I remembered this stuff. I have a lot of illness. I was a sick kid, and I did all those movies and TV shows in between surgeries. It's crazy, and then nobody knew. It was my big secret. My mom told nobody that I was sick, and then I almost died when I was 16. And this surgeon saved my life, and we had a lot of. It was a lot of stuff, and right before Repo Man, I had major surgery, and But my parents, my dad left home during my second surgery. I came home from the hospital and my dad was gone.
Wait. Second surgery, which means what in age? What is that for age?
That was 16. My surgery was 15, was first 15 and 16. I had 17 major abdominal surgeries. Like, it's crazy.
Wow. So the plot thickens.
Tough.
Yeah. I'm gonna write about it someday. I wanna write. I think we're gonna do something. Like it's a really crazy story. So yeah, the plot definitely thickens, and then my dad was gone because my mom and him didn't get along, so he left, and I was really upset, of course. And then my mom and I weren't getting along, and then my mom left, and she left me with a house. Like I was just 16, just turning 17. And I think I was emancipated. I don't even know. I thought I was.
Were you in? And this is in California, or is this in New York?
In California.
California.
I think I was emancipated minor. I don't know. I acted like thought I was emancipated. I went to Europe. I just left for London. When I saw my mom was gone, she left a note on the refrigerator drawer. And I was like, I don't want to live here. Like, it was a 3-bedroom townhouse. It was weird. It reminded me of my parents. It was sad. So I just got on a plane like that week to London. And I was a groupie. I chased this rock star from the band Bow Wow Wow. He was a bass player, and he became my boyfriend. Like,
so who was at the house? Is no one at the house?
No, nobody.
The house was chilling?
No,
wow.
Yeah.
A lot of big parties.
At the house?
Yeah.
No, I was in London. I don't know. It was weird. I'm trying to remember. Like, I actually wasn't. I really didn't want to stay at my house. I could have had the house all to myself, but I ran away when I was 15 to Hollywood to a punk rock house called the Ogden House. And I kind of ran away with permission because I was sick. My mom knew I was really sick, and like she let me kind of go. You know?
sound like a free spirit.
Yeah. I was. Yeah, I guess a free spirit would be a good. I trapped myself though as a free spirit. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to tiptoe around this question because it's kind of weird to me. I mean, to say it out loud, but child acting, because it takes so much work to be a child acting. You're working from the start, and the word is working. Isn't that like child labor? And I'm just like, it makes sense why you would run away at 16 because you've been working since you was like itty bitty. So
yeah,
that should be against the law.
It's I know. I would never put I would never put a kid in showbiz. I mean, like I say that, and like I want to teach an acting class online, and so if anyone wants to come to class, don't put your kid in showbiz. I want to teach children, but the thing is, it messed me up. I mean, it did mess me up. I mean, I had a weird family too and stuff, but like being a working child, I mean, there was so much responsibility, but for me, it was second nature. Like I was used to it, but I was a wreck inside. I was sick. So I had this illness called ulcerative colitis, which is like, they don't know what causes it, but what makes it come on is nervousness, is anxiety. And so the thing is, I wouldn't let anyone see that I was nervous because I was a performer, right? But they said I bottled everything up inside, and that's how I got sick.
Yo, I was just about to ask you about imposter syndrome because you just in the life, and we, it's a big term in our, like, at least in my day, that a lot of people feel imposter syndrome. So I was wondering if you felt that at when you were acting at that young age. Did you ever feel like, am I supposed to be here type of thing, or do you think that you had the chops all the time?
I didn't feel like, I never felt that. I always felt like I was supposed to be where I was, because it was like, because I was so young, because I got into it at such an early age, it was like natural. Do you know what I mean? It like, and I realized what my secret was, like what the key was to acting. Like I like to pretend like I was playing a game. Like I would play house all the time. Like I would play different characters. And it was like, and I used to play with dolls all the time, and I would like do accents with my dolls, and like that I was like, had a really very vivid imagination, and I believed all the roles I played, I believed I was really there.
Olivia, have you found peace, with your life? It sounds like you had, if there is such a thing, but.
I have, and I've not found it again. I've lost it. It's like that's been a really hard thing for me. And I mean, now I'm dealing with. I had a lot of trauma throughout my life because of the surgeries and because of the high standard, that my career. Like, yes, I did. I thought it was all normal, but as I grew older, I realized that no, it wasn't normal, and I had a lot of pressure on myself, and then there was a lot of traumatic incidents in my life, like after my parents passed away, which is like over 10 years ago, and then I just feel it's like it's been bad. I'm trying to like work that stuff out, and I don't fold. I'm a really strong person. I'm like a trooper. I'm a fighter, but I got really tired. Like during the pandemic here, I kind of feel like I was folding. I felt like I was starting to give up because it was so devastating and there was nobody around for me. Like everybody dissipated and I didn't have a significant other and I just felt really alone, but I don't know. I started feeling, I'm not suicidal. I'm not like, I can't give up. I have to accomplish, and like I have new stuff to accomplish now. And I mean, I'm not supposed to talk about. I can talk about it, kind of. Like I became a director, so I became a director and a producer. I guess I'm a writer, and then I was making music videos, and I have a show called Barkville TV. It's for dogs. It's a dog show on YouTube, and my dog is one of the stars of it. And they do parodies. The dogs do parodies of iconic films, television shows, and music videos. It's hilarious. And then so we did that, and it's really good. I had a fantastic editor who he went on to be like the director of musical artists at iTunes. Like he's incredibly talented, and so we did it all animated. It was half animated, half live action. Amazing. And then I had this project. I started directing. It started as a documentary, a one-off, and that's how I started directing. My old boyfriend put me in the director's chair. He's like, "You should direct this movie about this club that you worked at." I worked at the Viper Room, Johnny Depp's nightclub, and I was like, "No, I don't want to make a movie about that." I was like, "No," and he just kept bugging me. And then when he said it's going to be a Fallout production because he had a production company, I'm like, "Okay." And so, I mean, 8 years later, it's been a really long road. I mean, documentaries are always hard, I guess, to make, but this one in particular is hard because, it's Johnny Depp's club. It was like all stars, and it was a very high profile project to attack as a first project, I thought it was going to be fun and easy, and it's not. and now, like 8 years later, we're negotiating contracts with somebody. It's like with a big company. And it's like, I don't know what's going to happen. It may still not happen, but I think it will happen. But it's like, I'm sticking in. I'm not going to direct it now. I'm the creator, and I'm the writer, and I'm going to be in it, I guess. And yeah.
You mentioned that you're a producer as well. So that means you have to raise money, I'm assuming.
Well, that's how I started. That's actually how I started being a producer, and how I started back in the business, because I didn't know what I was going to do. Like I went out of the business because I was going to get married to my friend Dave Jordan, and we were together 13 years, but I don't know. We had problems. We had a lot of trauma and stuff in that relationship, and then I was on my own again. And I said, "What am I going to do?" I came out of, like, I had wealth as a child and, growing up and stuff, but not like this. Like Dave was he is an iconic record producer. And so I went from there to practically homeless. I didn't know what to do, and I had to get back into the business. And so I thought, maybe I'll raise finance for a movie. I don't know why I thought this, but I did it. And I did it for a few films. I really don't like doing it. It's very difficult. And, but it got me back in. And yeah, and then I started directing, and I didn't know I wanted to direct. I love that. I love directing.
And
yeah.
you didn't end up getting married with this person?
No. Yeah, this part of the story is like it's like a movie. It's like a really intense film. It's like it seems not true, but it's true. We had a drug problem when we were together. We met in AA actually, and we were sober first, but then it didn't work out. We did stay sober, and we basically our entire relationship was us battling our addiction problems and trying to get clean, because we did want to get married, but we didn't want to do it until we were clean. And then he tried to commit suicide in the end. That's how I broke up with him. And he tried to commit suicide by stabbing himself. It's really bad. And I was out, and I came back, and there were all these police cars at the house and an ambulance, and I could hear him screaming in the ambulance because he stabbed himself in the stomach. And the cops looked at me, and I knew I got arrested the next day. I got arrested for attempted murder, but I wasn't there. I mean, this is the crazy part of the story. And I actually spent one whole month, me, in the Twin Towers in jail in downtown LA.
Oh.
Yes. And I didn't know where I was, because what happened was I conked myself in the head. I broke my jaw in the Twin Towers. It's such a crazy story. I broke my jaw, and I fainted, and I broke my jaw completely. And it actually was a saving grace, because then I got to be separate from the community. I was separated, and so I was safer that way. But I got sober after that. That kind of got me, I didn't want to go back there. It was really, really horrible. And but then I started from scratch. Like, I didn't have anything. I lived in sober living in the Valley. Like, I didn't know what to do. And that's when I got back into producing, and I moved to Venice. And I climbed back up. Like, I had nothing. I didn't have a car. I lived in not even like a bachelor apartment, I had all these like weird times. And then like 7 years ago, 6 years ago, I started making money at directing, and I had work, live, loft space, and that's what I had. And so and I want to have that again. And I think it's really cool. Like, I can aspire to that. And I want to direct people, actors. I didn't want to necessarily do documentaries, and it's a great place to start, but I really want to get in with actors. That's what I look forward to. And I have a couple projects that are narrative pieces, or next pieces we're going to do.
Is this an advertisement to get people into the acting business?
No. I don't think so. I mean, it's. I mean, I've come full circle now, right? I guess so. So, yeah, I've come full circle. Like, I came back to my roots. Like, and now I'm acting again too, and I acted with you, Brandon.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I mean, that was kind of fun, right?
Very, very, very.
Where can we see you? What, on YouTube, or how can we view something that you've been involved in?
Oh, it's everywhere. They're like, if you Google my name, and all kinds of stuff comes up. But there's a lot of stuff on YouTube. A lot, like Little House on the Prairie, all my stuff, and Fame. Now I found out last night on Facebook that they're showing my episodes, my season on Fame, on this guy's channel. Like, I don't even know what's out there. I haven't even seen half of my episodes, so I'm going to watch that.
With all of the craziness of growing up in the business, like, how did you cope as a kid? And then as you got older, how did you cope in a better, you know what I mean?
I know. I didn't. I did and I didn't. Like, I held it together. I held it together. I mean, part of it. I mean, okay. So as an actor, I mean, you're really disciplined, right? You've got to show up. You've got to show up on time. You can't be late, and you can't miss a day of work, because if you do, you're not in the character. You don't get to do it, right? It's over. So I learned that from a very early age. So you had to show up and be there and be professional, and I did. but then I got into music. I got into the music. I got into the music industry sort of because it was more casual for me. It was more like who I was. I could be like a person. I could be rock and roll. It was like, I mean, that's how I coped. I mean, I didn't really cope. I had this drug problem. I mean, I didn't cope. I wanted to escape. I was really an escape artist. And a lot of it, you know, I did all the work. Like I've been in a lot of therapy, and then I went to AA and I did the steps like 4 times, 12 steps. And I did a lot of self work, and, you know, there was a lot of tragedy in my life. I blamed my mom. I was really mad at my mom. In the end, I was like, I was using drugs at her, which was so sad, you know? I was using at her. And the deal was, my mom didn't force me. My mom never, ever, ever forced me. She never stole my money. Like, I know that all the kids, my peers from the business in my era, all their parents stole their money. It's so crazy.
No.
What was that? You got a bird.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Bird, yeah.
Oh my God, I had no idea.
Excuse me.
Wow.
Yeah, his bird is crazier than your dog.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so they that kind of threw me off. That threw me off.
Oh, all good.
So yeah, I was blaming my mom, and then what I come to realize was my mom had a really hard life, you know, and I just wanted to help her. I wasn't being forced to do it. I just took on a lot of responsibility. I just wanted her to be happy, you know? Mm-hmm. And me acting made her so happy because she wanted to be an actress. She actually won a screen test. She was in New York, and she was in some kind of dramatic school, and her and a boy was her age, 16 years old. They both got chosen to fly to Hollywood and screen test for like at Paramount, and it was in the 40s. And my mom chickened out. She got to the airport and she didn't get on the plane. So I was next, you know, I was next in line, but I wanted to. It was my idea. It was just tough when I was in LA. When I came to LA, like when I was 12, I started surfing, and I kind of wanted to be a kid, you know. I hung out with the Dogtown boys, you know, and I was like the only girl surfer back then. And I loved that. I loved what I was doing, and I always had to leave to work, you know? So, but how did I cope? I don't know. I didn't, I kept it all inside, and everything looked good on the outside until, you know, I think I probably had a little nervous breakdown after, like, you know, it was time, but it didn't take me under, you know. It's like, I'm tough, you know. That's
definitely,
you know.
Yeah. How are you doing, Sierra?
I'm good. Sorry.
Where are you? Are you in Atlanta also?
I'm in the Midwest.
You're in the Midwest?
Yeah. So we're kind of all over.
Where?
Chicago area.
Oh, wow. That's cool. I was in Chicago not too long ago, like a year and a half ago.
Oh yeah.
Because I was doing a show. There's a guy named Jerry Filippo. He was a bass player in my band, and I created a TV show for him. But we signed all these contracts. We did it, and he left for another TV show. He found another TV show, and he's doing it. He became famous. He's becoming like known. But I brought it to Warner Brothers, and I started in Chicago with him. I started like rehearsal there and stuff.
You mentioned that you're directing. I'm sorry. You mentioned you're directing. You're directing a show right now.
Not right now. I was directing the Viper Room for a lot of time, but I directed I shot an interview last year. I've directed that on and off for a while. I have other things that I would like to. Yeah, I have 2 projects. They're really, really cool. That one is about the after hours scene in Los Angeles in the 80s, and I want to do that as a series, as a TV show, and that's one. And then this other one is really cool. It's a biopic on Malcolm Mclaren, the manager of the Sex Pistols and Adam and the Ants and Bow Wow. And he has a really fascinating life. And I wanted to do it as a feature film, but we may do it as a limited TV series. So now, yeah. And Morris wants to do it.
Do you prefer to do for film or for TV or for Broadway?
I don't know.
Do you have any?
Now I don't know. Now everything's different, right? I mean, look, Broadway is killer. Like I would give anything to do a show, to do theater. I won awards in theater. That was my thing. Like I loved it. It was I love performing in front of a live audience, you know. Yeah. And so yeah, I would love to go. I probably should go to New York and try to do a show. Maybe that'd be something to do. That'd be fun, huh?
Yeah.
You're doing that.
Yeah.
I will, yeah. Yeah. Everybody here, we're all pursuing the arts.
Oh, okay.
You know, Phines is
buddy.
a visual artist, and Sierra's a voiceover actor.
Cool.
And Grandpa's a ballerina.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you and I dance
Yeah.
together, don't we?
Yeah.
Brandon?
That's great.
He was in the Nutcracker.
No way. I love it. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. But
That's what you should do.
yeah.
I love dance. That's I was talking about that to a friend of mine on the phone today. He wants me to give him tap lessons, tap dancing, because he bought tap shoes like 2 years ago, and he doesn't know how to tap dance. I said, "Well, you may."
It's a good reason to get started.
I know, it was fun. It was so fun to dance with him.
Make the purchase. Yeah. I had a guitar and I just never played, and I thought it would get me to get good at it. But
it's hard to. I have 3 guitars here. I have not played. I can't even tell you when the last time I played. And I do play it. I donate because I started.
Do you read music, or you just listen by ear? Like, how do you?
I'm by ear, but I can read also because but I didn't finish. I should have finished at Carnegie Hall, and I hated reading. That was the deal. My mom pulled me out of Carnegie Hall because I'd start crying. I would cry every piano lesson. I was taking piano from Madame Seghetti. I remember, and she lived in Carnegie Hall, and she had a bunch of Pekingese dogs, and it was really very visual. So I'd cry though in her class because she'd play a song, and she'd play me, you know, Bach, and I'd listen. And then I pretend to read the music, and I'd play by the ear, you know, and she knew every time. She knew all the time.
Yeah, Grandpa would know this, but I feel like all the concert instrumentalists have to go off of reading music, right? Like that's how you get.
I don't know that that's true
booked.
about classical musicians. I think maybe more so jazz musicians are popular, but classical musicians generally read the music.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like you have to, it's a requirement, right?
Yeah, to be a classical musician.
Like everybody, when you go to a concerto, is turning the page,
and just as much as your English.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I stayed with my piano. Like because then when I formed bands, like I had bands, it would have been great to have all of that knowledge, you know. But but it's like my gift, you know. The music thing is a gift. And so I played with people though, like Scott Tunis. He's talking to me. He just found me on Facebook. He was my bass player for a long time, and he was Frank Zappa's bass player for 10 years.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he's like amazing, and he's a classically trained. I mean, he's so good. He can play anything.
Yeah.
So good. All these instruments and yeah.
Do you find that the culture of music treated you, or in general, is just a lot better than the acting biz?
No, it's different. It's different.
Olivia. No.
It's different. I mean, it's like it's the same. It's different. Okay, so the difference is live performance is live performance. Like it's very similar. Like you're performing, right? And that my whole thing was playing live. So like playing on Broadway, like it was, I love that. But the thing that's different is you have a band and you have like 4 people, 3 people, there's 3 or 4 people in your band. I mean, minimum. And then when you're on a movie shoot, you have like a lot of crew, like a lot of people. You can't really do it alone. I mean, you could, but it's not. I don't know. It's like it's different, but it's the same. It's got the same mentality. I think I don't know which is more corrupt, the music industry or the film industry in Hollywood. I don't know.
Well, like the acting stuff, it sounded very intense and traumatic, right? And I was curious if the music was more of a reprieve from that, or just as
okay. So yes, it was because the difference for me, music versus acting back then, because I wasn't writing that. It's like 'cause the parts were written for me. Like I auditioned and I played a role, right? But the music, it actually was more intense. I thought it wasn't going to be as intense. It was more intense for me because it was mine. It was my writing. It was my songs. Yeah. And so when you get rejected there, that's like, oh, I didn't like that. It was like really, it was very personal. And my songs were really personal. And it was like, oh my gosh. And I got signed to Warner Chappell. It's like the biggest publishing company in the world. And they love my music, but they wouldn't like say, they say, don't do that. So like some of the stuff was really dark, and I was a really prolific songwriter. I delivered like, I had 500 songs. I stopped counting, and I would record in their studio, and I wasn't supposed to record all the time. Like somebody said to me, maybe you shouldn't give them all these songs but I just wanted to, Like there was no shortage, but yeah, it was personal. It was really personal, and there were a lot of record labels. We went to record labels, and I was rejected. I mean, I was almost signed to a lot of them, to Chrysalis. I had a demo deal with Chrysalis, and that's how I ended up at Warner Chappell, because the A&R guy, turns out he was my friend from when I was a kid, and we recorded, my band and I decided for fun in their studio. We recorded all the songs that we were going to record for the demos there. We recorded them Spanish acoustically. We did like a Spanish acoustic version, and it was gorgeous. I mean, it was but the A&R guy, Duff, got so excited about it. Everybody thought it was so cool. He played it for the president, and they dropped me. He did not even go into the music that we were going to do, because he couldn't imagine that I was doing that, a rock and roll artist, because it was like Spanish classical. But anyway, that A&R guy, Duff, he felt so bad that he walked me into Warner Chappell and up to the vice president's office, and I had my guitar on me and I played him music, and that's how I got signed. Yeah.
So your music is of the popular vein.
Yeah.
I see. Are there any songs that we would recognize that?
Mm-mm. No, I mean, if you see the Doors movie, my voice is recognizable, but I didn't record any albums. Like I recorded some compilation records, and I didn't do my own full album. And it's actually something that I maybe should do, and maybe can do, because I was going to do, it's sad though. So I was going to do that with Dave, like one of these, like maybe it would have been this year. And he was my original record producer who I fell in love with. And I said, we never recorded an album together. And he always wanted to use my songs for other artists. Like we were going to do that. And then, but he's not well. So he's alive, but he had a stroke. Oh. And I don't even know where he is. And it's so sad. So I've had all this like weird stuff happen lately. It's heavy and sad, but, yes, I wanted to do that with him, but now I have another record producer that I'm working with, David Kahn. Like, all these really crazy, really iconic record producers. He writes with me, and maybe I'll want to record with him. I don't know, But it's I write jazz. I kind of blues jazz too. I do different kind of. I could write anything, I could sing it. I sang like Broadway musical when I was a little kid, but my songs aren't like that. Mm-hmm. David Bowie.
Have you run across Clyde King? Do you know who that is? Background singer?
No, who's that?
Pardon?
Oh, no. I don't know.
Well-known background singer.
background singer. The background singers
They
are
tried to
fantastic.
make a star out of her, but apparently she
Didn't
didn't
work.
fit into that realm. But she's a great singer.
It's hard. The background. Well, there are some that became really famous. I think Sheryl Crow was a background singer, wasn't she? I think so.
Yeah.
And I love her. She was like, and there's someone else. Remember they did that documentary. It was called 6 Feet from. It was something about 6 feet. It was about background singers, like famous ones, like with the big rock bands. What is it called? 6 Feet from Stardom or something? I can't remember.
So,
I should know.
Olivia, what's on the horizon for you right now? What are you? I mean, you did go over some of it, but just specifically, what are you working on right now that you hope will come to fruition?
Well, it looks like something is coming to fruition. I'm working on it now, and it's this documentary. It's now melded into a docuseries, a limited docuseries, and that's the thing that I'm not going to direct, I don't think, but I'm writing, I'm outlining it, and I'm producing. Like we're doing all this. I'm an executive producer, so we're doing. I mean, you have to find the archives and all this stuff, so much stuff, because it's a place that existed. It has a rich history. There are so many stories. Like I'm writing the stories because we can reenact, we can do stuff, we can find footage to some of the stories. It's hard to find footage at this particular place because there was a no camera rule at the Viper Room, no cameras. And so there's not a lot of footage that exists, but I do know the people that do have it, like a couple rock stars have some footage, and it's it's interesting. But that's being focused on now because we're actually, negotiating a contract, but we'll see if it happens. You never know, but I think it might happen. And then after that, I'm going to start writing. I'm already thinking about these other two projects, the After Hours nightclub one. It's called Hollyweird, and it's got characters in it. It's about an up and coming young director, an ingenue actress, and a rock star. And they're three best friends, and the director's in love with the actress, and the actress is in love with the rock star, but we'll see what happens. And that's that. And then the other one, the Mclaren, there's a lot of research to do on the other one, because I like doing biopics. I like doing true stories. I think they're great to, So like, it makes sense with me doing a documentary, but I like acted true stories,
Why? What? You kind of went into it, but why do you feel like what drives you to be like, to pick that as your documentary of choice?
Oh,
I probably wouldn't pick that.
What, the Viper Room?
No, just doing doing documentaries of that like topic. Like, what drives you to do that?
Well, it was just by chance. It wasn't even my idea. Like the reason why it was chosen, and then I just said, that makes sense, is because I worked at the Viper Room. So I worked there. Johnny Depp hired me, and this other guy, Sal, Jacob, Johnny, old best friend, they hired me. I worked on 21 Jump Street a few years before that. And then after River Phoenix died at the club, they hired me because it was really, it just didn't seem like it was going to ever be the same again. Like they couldn't nobody wanted to go there. Like it was all tourists wanted to go and just take a picture of where River died.
Mm-hmm.
And they thought that I could help turn it around again because I was really social, And so I did. It took like a year, and we all did. Me and Johnny and Sal did. And it was a trip. And so, so I was writing about those times and I mean, the experience. I only worked there for like a year or 2 years, and I met so many people. It was so crazy. It's crazy. Like now that I look back at it, I mean, it all seemed very normal to me. Like I was hanging out with rock stars, all the movie stars, and but it was normal. But it wasn't normal. It's like, that's not normal at all. But and there's crazy stories. I mean, and there's going to be some of that Like, and there's a deeper story. There's a much deeper story to that's. I feel that I hope that it's going to be the plot. It's going to end up being like the thorough story that people are going to want to know about. And I found it only a couple of years ago. I was just making a tribute film, a rock and roll tribute film, and doing like a rock and roll reunion concert. And now there's a much deeper, darker story, and it's I say the rock and roll tribute movie became a rock and roll whodunit. So that's what we're going to do. That's what we're doing now. Yep. It's like a lot. It's a story that nobody knew about the story at all, and now they know a little bit, but they don't know the stuff that I know because I was there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I didn't go to that for any reason. It was just like, oh, and the reason why my ex-boyfriend said, you should. I just was doing another film. I was doing a TV series. I wrote it, and I got fired. I got these guys in Detroit, and they flew me out to live with his family and like write about them and the whole thing. And I wrote the pilot, you know, and they got rid of me, and they didn't pay me properly, and they scared me. They were like they're some kind of gangsters. They were like used car salesmen or something, and so. I was devastated, and my boyfriend was like, "You're going to do this because nobody can take it from you. This is going to be yours. You can't. Nobody can take it from you. Just do it." And he was looking out for me. But you know what? They could take it from me also. Somebody else is going to direct it. I mean, it's like that's just kind of you got to go with it. You know, you got to go with the flow.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you have a best friend?
Yeah, my Pippin, my dog. Should I bring her on camera?
Yeah, sure.
I have to get her. She's my best friend. Hold on. She's in the movie. She's in the movie that Brandon and I are in. Hold on a second. Pippin, come on, Pippin. Where are you? Pippin. Are you hiding in your house? Come on. Come on, baby. Come on. We're gonna go
Hi, Sierra.
on TV.
Hi.
Hold on 1 second. I gotta get her out. Oh,
Had to bring my baby.
okay. Got it.
Oh, isn't he beautiful?
Oh, I should put her hat on.
Look at my baby.
Beautiful.
All right, don't take it
Stars
off.
of Barton.
Oh.
This is my best friend. This is Pippin. Hello. You put my earphones on.
Dog fest.
This is Pippin. Wait, let me put this on. And she is a little star. And she did Barkville. She does Barkville TV. She does all the parodies. And then I got hired to direct the Pet Collective. The Pet Collective is a really big, you know, well, it's huge. It's like the biggest pet show there is. And we did a parody called Naked and a Furred, and it went viral on that. Naked and a Furred, and then it went viral. And then I did a bunch of Mattel toy spots for GQ Media. But then she did a movie. When I went to New York, they asked for her in a movie, and she did it. And
Aww.
like she had a guardian that took her to the set and everything. Yep. And she's not trained or anything.
How old is she?
She's not that old. She's like she's 7. She just turned 7. Yeah. She's good. She's funny though. She's a character. And she dances. How she got in Barkville, we had other dogs. I didn't want to be a stage mother. And I was shooting in my loft. We had a big loft, and we're shooting on the green screen, all these other dogs. And I just got her. I had her for a few months. She stand on her hind legs. She danced across camera on her hind legs. I'm like, oh wow, I guess she has to be in it. That was it. Yeah. Yeah.
Got little Yoda ears.
Look at her.
She's good, huh? She's a bunny. She's like a bunny rabbit.
Oh yeah.
She's a
What
fuzzy.
type is she? What type of dog is she?
She's an Italian Greyhound Chihuahua.
Oh wow, I can see both of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
And she's fast, and she's like, I don't take her off leash here because of Vermont, but I take her at the end in the driveway, and she's so fast. She's like a little rabbit.
it is. Yeah, I can see that. I'm thinking about that is such a good mixture, a Chihuahua and a miniature grizzly.
I know, isn't it good? It's good.
Yeah.
I got it from a horse stable. She came. There was a Chihuahua rescue, and they had him all up in the park. Like I know it's really far away. It's like near Glendale or something. And they lived in a horse stable. All the Chihuahuas.
Well, so Chihuahuas are a little aggressive though, and Greyhounds are fast. So now you got a really dope guard dog. It sounds like to me. She's
not aggressive though. She's really sweet. She doesn't bark. She's like not yippity. She's a really unique dog. She's very good.
I love it.
Yeah, she's cool. She's cool. Let's stand up. What happened to Brandon? Did I turn him off or?
I don't know what happened to Brandon. He's probably
he's somewhere else.
Yeah. He's doing his thing.
Brandon heard what you were saying about the music industry. He's like, "Oh my god, I got to dip. I gotta make some calls. I gotta cancel this."
Yeah.
Do you have a keyboard?
No, I don't have anything here. Like I have my guitars. I've touched them. I've one. They're behind my bed, and I've got just guitars here right now, and I should play. I mean, I am surrounded by musicians. A lot of my friends are in the music world. I mean, so one of my best friends, he's my Buddhist sponsor. I'm a Buddhist, and he's the guitar player and co-founder of the band Hole, Courtney Love's band. You know, Hole. Mm. And I just talked to him today. I've talked to him all the time. Like I should probably play music again. Oh, my dentist is calling. I'll call him back. I'm looking at all this. So Eric, but he lives now. I lived in Venice, and he moved from here to there, and we moved opposite ways. And I have all these friends. It feels like maybe I should play or something. It would be fun to do. It would be relaxing. It would be good for my soul, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that's been missing, I think, from my life is the music. And I think I just was so focused on directing. Like I had a learning curve. I mean, I knew everything from acting all my life, but like I had to learn how to edit. You know, I didn't finish. I should learn more, but I had, it's a whole nother mindset, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so it was, but I love it. It makes sense. You know, I think it's a really, I love it. I just like making stuff, you know?
Yeah.
I like creative. Yeah, I like making things.
Well, it takes a lot of people to make a movie, I would imagine, you know, with airy cameras and cameramen and grips.
Yeah. You know. Not the filmmaker who we just worked with, Spencer. Mm-hmm. He was like a one-man show. He had some people sometimes, but he shot it. He did everything. And I kind of come from that school too, but you got to have people. Like it helps. And I know at first, like, it's a little ego. It's like you think, oh, I can just do this. I'll do it better. But it's like, it's so great to collaborate, you know?
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Two, I guess. Mm-hmm. One is, have you worked anything outside of art? And if you were, what would it be? What would you do? Have you thought about it?
Well, yeah, I was in school. I went to college for a year. I went to SMC and I studied psychology, and I wanted to become a psychologist. And I worked. So I worked in these places. It's called dual diagnosis for addicts with mental disorders. And it's heavy. It's like, it's the best. I mean, I love it. That's like, I thrive. So that's the only thing that I found that I thrive at as much as acting or music is like working with those people, with people that I can help. And, you know, it's great. It's very, very intense and can be dangerous. I mean, the last place I worked was out in Malibu, and it's like a mansion, but there have been some kids that are really sick. Like it's really heavy, and you've got to know, and you have to be trained and know how to interact and stuff. And I was going to go back to school again because the place wanted to send me. They wanted me to get my degree so I could be, you know, a counselor. So maybe that might be something that I would do again. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just asking. Not saying you got to do it or nothing. Just asking.
Yeah.
But it's cool to know.
Yeah.
I had a friend in Hollywood who was a very fine musician, songwriter, and the big studios used him to train groups for recording and for the road. His name is Warren Sams, and he
get your mic closer.
His desire was to work in a mental hospital. That's what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
He was
I get it. It's like
marvelous on keyboard and everything. You know, he could play in any key instantly. So.
Yeah, I love. Yeah, I know so many gifted people. Like I that's one thing I'm very lucky that I've met in my lifetime. I've met so many super talented people. You know, just super talented.
Yeah.
Like Dave Jordan, my ex. I mean, just phenomenal. He produced bands like he produced Jane's Addiction. He produced Alice in Chains. He produced The Offspring. He was the Rolling Stones engineer. He started as an engineer, and then he did Rod Stewart's out. Like he started on the biggest albums because he was discovered by Brian Eno. Like he's an amazing talent. Like he's just like amazing. You know.
Yeah.
So I feel really blessed that I've gotten to know these people, you know, that they've graced my life. It's pretty awesome, you know, because not everybody gets those opportunities, and it's really
Very
cool.
True.
Yeah.
Tell me if I'm prying. What'd your parents do?
Oh, it's not right. My dad. Well, he started in Miami. So I was born in Miami, Florida. And I was only there for 6 months.
Wait, you were born in Miami.
Yeah.
And so you just all these coasts are like you just seem like a very coastal person.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. All right.
A coastal person. So I was born in Miami, and my dad worked for Bain de Soleil, the suntan lotion, and then he started his own. Then he had like a sundry shop in the Eden Rock Hotel, which is a famous hotel on the beach, and then. It didn't work out. His suntan lotion did not take off, and he lost money, and we left. But we left Florida. I was a baby, and I remember my parents not knowing. We were going to different places. I was really young, but I remember flying to Las Vegas. It's so strange, and we ended up in Long Island, New York, and then my dad became the general manager of Schlitz Beer.
General manager
of Schlitz Beer. And that was and then we moved to New York for my career. So we moved from Long Island to Forest Hills, Queens, and then to the city proper, you know, to the West Side. And and I was like the breadwinner, but my dad paid the rent. But I put myself through private school. Like I went to Pali High and professional school, you know, the one with Janet Jackson. But then I went to Marymount as a kid, and that was expensive, like tuition there. So I used to pay for that and stuff.
And your mom was like working from, like she was not working from home, but doing like. She
didn't work at first, but she wanted to work when she moved out here. She ended up working because she couldn't be my stage mom anymore because I didn't need her on the set. Like at a certain point. Yeah, but it's like
I guess I'm sorry. I also haven't asked this question.
Yeah.
Are you have any siblings?
I have a half brother, Sammy, and I'm talking to him more now. We didn't talk a lot for a long time, and now like the pandemic brought us together, which is really cool. He's in Connecticut.
Okay.
We think alike, Phines, because that was the next question that I was going to ask.
There we are. I see.
Yeah. Yeah. Sammy's cool. So Sammy's like. I marvel at his life. Like we always talk on FaceTime, and it's like he lives in the country, you know, and he like chops wood, and like it's like so. I want to do that. Like it's so cool, you know, and he was a clammer. So when we grew up on the Great South Bay. He had clam boats, and he was a clammer.
Oh wow!
Yeah. And he's still boating. He said he counted the boats he has. He has like 6 boats at his house. So, yeah, he's a boater. Like he likes to sail and stuff. I want to get back. I want to go back east. I want to visit him. I haven't seen him in a really long time. He came out here last time, but I want to go back there. So, might get to do that soon, hopefully. I'm itching to go to New York.
New York's great.
I know. What do you do in New York?
Just working and doing illustrations and
cool.
Whatever kind of just living life, enjoying it.
Yeah. Is it rough in New York? Because my friend is like, don't bother, don't come. It's weird. Is it that weird?
I personally don't find it very weird, but
he's freaking out. I think.
I guess it just depends. I don't find it that weird.
Yeah.
I like the people; they're nice.
I like the people. That's what makes the city the people.
For real.
That's it.
Yeah. Speaking of meeting a lot of just talented people, once I moved up here, I just met like so many talented individuals. It's great.
Yeah.
I think it helps with your growth. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's another question. I mean, it's like a double-edged sword, I suppose, because one part of me is like, dang, rough life, for like being like, working as a kid, doing all this stuff. But then another part of me is like, but you met so many, like, you've done so much and you lived so many different things.
It's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag. That's why I should call my book Mixed Bag. It's so, but it is. It's like, it was like, I mean, and as I said, it always looked good from the outside, right? But the thing is that I think that I've been in a lot of pain on the inside. Like there's something that's non-resolved in my life. Something from, I don't know. It's like I'm trying to sort that out now. I'm going back to therapy and I'm going to learn, how to cope better because, me and her, we're it, like I gotta take care of her. I gotta take care of myself. I gotta show up and, I went into like during the pandemic, I was like staring at the computer screen. Like I did not know, I was like a deer in headlights, but I snapped out of it. Like I remember when it happened too. And I was like, okay, I gotta do something. And then I feel better. It's all like it's a vicious cycle,
Yeah, you're a hustler. You're trying to grind. I see you're out here.
Do you have fun doing your hair?
You're holding up.
Huh?
You have fun grooming your hair?
This hair? My hair or her hair? Yes. I have to get a haircut.
Oh, look nice.
I got my I just had my haircut not too long ago. It was I didn't have a haircut at all because of the pandemic. And then my friend came over to do my hair. That was really cool. And I've been doing my own hair because the pandemic changed everything,
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it really has.
I know. It's like
same. I'm trying to do my own hair. It's awful.
I've been procrastinating. I'm not doing it like I should be. And every night I'm going to do my hair. But
I agree.
Yeah.
I do agree with you.
I don't know. And my friend, I have a friend here that just arrived in town from Austin. My girlfriend, she was one of my best friends, and she was here the whole time. And then she went back to Austin like a couple years ago, and she's here now. I'm gonna see if I can get her to come.
It was an amazing night. Yeah, it was really crazy. I went to LA for like a week to visit Spencer, but I never experienced it until you showed me around. So, yeah.
Oh wow.
It's weird that you said, or not
fun.
weird, but
I like it when you're here.
You said you would prefer New York over LA for like up and coming actors or growing up or something, right?
I mean, because you get your chops. I mean, you have to be trained. You have to be great. Like it's like you can't not be great.
Can you not be great in LA?
I know.
Well?
I feel proud that I came from New York. I feel.
I'm on my way.
No, I mean you didn't know well. I could.
Oh, you're great, Olivia.
I don't got to be great,
but you'll.
I think you're great though. But you're great.
You also said,
thank
Olivia,
you.
that you ran out of, I don't know, things to do in New York, and that's why you moved to Los Angeles. I think you said that.
That's what I mean. That's what this lady said. I mean, I'm sure I could have done more, but I wouldn't have, you know, I wouldn't have done as much. I would have done the same kind of thing. It's like there was so much more to do. Now I don't know what it's like in New York now.
Well, yes, now. I am. When I left New York, it was
working,
December
right?
of 2020, and I still felt like it was very different from 2019. But I haven't been back, so I'm sure it's better. But
yeah, I'm tempted. So I'm tempted to go to New York. I mean, it's just so expensive there. But you know what? Cost of living is really expensive here now too.
Yeah.
But I've been tempted.
You can tell by his expression.
Glasses. I think everything's great.
Right? There you go.
Yeah.
I know it's good. I'm tempted to come back there though. I'm tempted to go back there and get a job as a producer at Amazon or something. I look at LinkedIn every day and I see all these jobs that I'm kind of right for it. I didn't go to college. Continue to go, but I've got this education in film and television from my experience, right? And I know that because I'm confident about it, I know that I can land one of those jobs. So I'm tempted. I've been looking. I put New York or LA and London are the places I want to work.
Yeah, I was listening to this podcast yesterday. They were talking about different lives and stuff, and they were saying what do you think your life would look like if you went to college? Yeah. You think you'd still be in the performing arts if you took an academic path?
I know. I don't know. I mean, it's very difficult to get out of the performing arts when you get in at such an early age. I think. I mean, it's very difficult for me. It was difficult, and I came back to it. I tried to be normal, whatever. But I don't. I mean, I'll be honest. I loved acting with you, Brandon, in Spencer's film because when I quit acting, I really did not think I was going to ever act again. I did not want to. I was so done. A part of it was my jaw. I broke my jaw. It's it was a lot of stuff, but. It was so great working with Spencer. He writes really cool dialogue. He writes, it was
tell them how we met.
And it made me miss it and want to do more.
How'd you meet Spencer?
Yeah. How did we meet? We met on a movie. Oh, how did we meet Spencer? Oh, wow. Well, I met Spencer. He was my editor. He became my editor for a music video, and actually, it was supposed to be a different editor, and it was that ex-boyfriend of mine. He found this editor for me, and then I guess he wasn't available.
Yeah, Spencer.
And then he turned me on to his friend, and he said he's really good. It was Spencer, and then Spencer and I just Spencer is a very special person. He's unique. He's not like a Hollywood person. He's not like a Hollywood kid. He's not pretentious, and he's heartfelt. He has all this heart, And we connected. And I was really grateful to connect with him on that level because it was very hard for me during the pandemic. I lost some friends. Friends didn't die. They just left the friendship. And really people were kind of cuckoo. So South Party included, but I mean, really, but really, I mean, I have my best friend.
Yeah.
I'm my best friend anymore. I can't.
And also, I feel like, you
weird.
didn't leave LA
It's
the whole time, right?
Sad.
In the last 2 years, you were through the whole pandemic. Yeah.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't leave at all for the whole time. I went. I feel like I went somewhere. I went to downtown LA a couple times. Repo Man screened there. They had a drive-in, and I went there. And then,
I remember walking around with you and just being
Venice.
everything is
I was
so
in Venice on my bicycle.
LA, not having been there, it's just such a different vibe. It feels like such a bubble,
It's very, very different. but it's, I mean, downtown, and it's weird. Like you were in the roughest. That was like that's one of the roughest neighborhoods. I mean, it's
but not even
like
that block. Like walking on the beach or walking on Hollywood. I just kept saying like, oh, that's so, or like that person. So like the fashion and the whole, like the, very like Hollywood. I don't know. I feel like I would.
Yeah,
be, like,
I guess so.
Scared there because I would like immediately worry about like my shirt that I'm wearing. I don't know. Like,
because everybody's very conscious of how they look. It's not like besides that's why I like New York better. Like,
New York is also great. New York, I remember I saw a dude standing on the seat of a bicycle, weaving in and out of traffic, yelling "woo" like at the top of his lung, and like no hand, nothing, and people naked so.
Wow.
Oh, New York's always been.
Yeah, I know. I heard it's gotten really. I heard like kind of weird.
Yeah, I care. I like it. I care less.
Well, in New York, you can like say your lines out loud and like like act to yourself, and nobody gives a fuck. Yeah, like every other person is doing some form of that.
Don't even notice how. It's so funny.
Here in Atlanta, I feel like I can't do that, and
LA,
it's great. Let everybody just doing their thing.
New York's just so crazy.
Oh. So it's more free. It's more free. I just think it's more down to earth. I think people are more real, and that's what and that's me. That's I have that in me, and that's what I've had problems with in LA. Why I miss.
I agree.
Right?
No, it's not even you don't care. It's like fuck you to everybody equally.
Because we don't care. We just don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Literally, I mean, sometimes I don't know. I feel like a real New Yorker now, and most of not that I've been long enough, but majority of the time is not even fuck you. It's
you're
like,
nothing.
I literally do not care about you, which is
that's a good place to be.
No, literally nobody.
Where you
saying your lines outside, outline. Yeah, say your lines out loud. I don't care.
Yeah. I talked to my friend in New York. I just talked to Lisa Novick. She's still in the building in Forest Hills, Queens, like the building that we grew up in. She's still there.
What was the name?
Lisa Novick.
Sarah.
Okay,
Novak.
I know a Sarah Novak. But
no,
they're probably
yes, I know her too.
Yeah, it was an improv teacher.
Oh wow, that's funny. She Lisa Novick has a travel company. She does tours. She's a tour. Wow. She books all the travel for famous rock bands and tour. Okay. And so she's doing that. And then I spoke to Robert Mandelbaum. Robert Mandelbaum these are my best friends. Were Robert Mandelbaum, Greg Pasquarelli, and Lisa Novick. They were my three best friends, and we started in the Girard Towers in Forest Hills. And Robert has become he's the criminal judge, Superior Court judge of New York City. He's I know, he's like, it's heavy. I mean, he's just like he was when he was 5. Like he's the same. Like he's still.
He must be very serious.
No, I shot Bartville. I shot on location at the end with Bartville, and I brought Pip in there, and I shot all these episodes with other dogs, and we shot his dog was in the puppet show, and he's so fun. He's funny. Actually, you would never know that he was a judge. It's kind of funny because he's kind of hilarious. And then my other friend, Greg Pasquarelli, he always wanted to be an architect. Like he used to play with Legos, and I used to play his secretary. And he's an architect now, and he owns he's a partner, and he's in the Woolworth building. He's like downtown, and he knows Frank Gehry, and he built. There's a famous place in New York that he designed. It's a
Barclays.
It's a something center. It's Brooklyn.
Barclays?
It's a sports center. Think of
Don't worry.
Please,
I probably won't know it.
What's it called?
Yeah, Barclays is like the giant arena in.
It's very famous.
Brooklyn.
Whatever it is, he built. He just.
No, there's tons.
No, I don't know. Is there another Brooklyn thing that has to be?
It's crazy. You know so many people.
He built one that's famous. He designed it.
Grandpa knows like 3 people.
Yeah, well, that's I'm old. That's what
I do. You know.
I'm old.
You ever run into Ken
old
Silk?
Who's Ken Silk?
Well, he's married to Bing Crosby's daughter or granddaughter.
Oh,
she was in Star Trek.
What's yeah, that what's her name? I was supposed to do a movie with her when I was a kid, Tapeheads, but I was on Fame and I didn't do it. But she was in that movie.
Yeah, he was a boyhood friend of mine and calls himself an actor, but people that know him say that he had enough money that he never really had the motivation to really do anything.
What's your advice to the
one of
sort
those
young artists that are coming up, like Grandpa? No, like the 3 of us. Like what?
You have a cynical or sarcastic side.
Yeah, what would you say to with all your wisdom?
What is my advice? Get out now! No, kidding. Oh, no, you're not gonna, because you're not gonna. Because if you love it, like I love it, then you love it, and you're not gonna go anywhere. But you're gonna just go places, and if you're talented, so this is it. It's my thing, my saying. It's probably some of other people's things. Perseverance and patience is the key. Are the key. Perseverance and patience. You just keep on plugging. And you wait, and I'm telling you, and it'll happen, and it does happen. It's a numbers game. That's what I see. And when I was young, when I started, it was easier. Like there wasn't so much competition, right? I mean, now everybody. But the thing is, I believe and I feel that talent always everyone finds it. You know what I mean? And if you persevere and you're patient, you're going to get there.
Yeah, but Olivia, what percentage of people that are serious about, let's say, being having a career in acting, actually ever really make a living out of it?
I don't know. My friend was talking to me about that, Kevin Ragsdale. I guess not a lot. I mean, it's weird because I think what's normal for me, the normal is to make a living in acting, and that's really rare, I guess. And then my friend Kevin, who's a movie producer, and now he's an actor. He loves acting. He's really good, actually. I cast him in his first thing, in the Fishbone. It's the Fishbone Pilot, this band. So anyway, he said to me, he's in these acting classes. He goes, everybody in my acting class, we give their left arm to do one project that you do, just one. He said, do you realize, like, everybody wants to do just one. They just want to, and I got to do many. And it's kind of the same, like selling a show, like being a writer or a director or producer. It's like, it's not easy. Like I thought, because everyone's saying, they need content. Everybody wants content now, I don't care. It doesn't matter how good your content is. It's really hard to get on TV, to get a show. It's luck. It's being in the right place at the right time and being good, but But now I got my second shot, so I went to Warner Brothers with my first show like this, and now I shouldn't say it's supposed to be the biggest movie studio in the world. Like I'm at this big movie studio, so I'm going in the right direction is what I believe, and I'm persevering, and I guess I'm patient, but not really. I want to make this thing. I want to make more. I want to make more than one thing, be on the other side of the camera. So
well, you certainly sound very prolific. I mean, you've been involved in so many different things. It's unusual. Mm-hmm.
It's been I got to do it. I got to do the deal. And my parents and I didn't have nepotism going for me. I wasn't related to anybody. I think maybe I found out I was later. I think James Caan is some kind of distant cousin. And then I had grandparents, my great aunt
Wow.
and great uncle, or maybe their great great aunt and uncle, were in vaudeville, and during the Depression in New York.
Do you think someone like, let's say, Shirley Temple or Mickey Rooney today would have continued a career like they were able to do, back in their day?
Absolutely, because they're fantastic. I think they're just. I mean, I love the old movies, and I was raised on all of that, And they're phenomenal actors today, but they're like Judy Garland. I mean, it's like God, There's people that come along that are just like so special, and I think it doesn't matter what
you
they're
said
put in. I think
it's harder now because
do
of
their
the amount
thing,
of people, but I can't imagine sort of being like a young girl and young woman in Hollywood, in the industry. Did you deal with a lot of negatives just from that, or?
No, I didn't. It's been coming up a lot this week. I've been talking about that, and it's interesting. I guess I was really lucky, but I think I don't want to say. I think it was luck, but also I don't know what it was. I think it may have been worse for the boys. Like I'm hearing stories. Who was I talking to yesterday? Somebody who is a child actor, and he told me the horrendous. Oh no. Oh my gosh, it's my old boyfriend. Like I from Dogtown, Mark Munsky. He was a famous skater, right? And then he did a movie. The Dogtown boys all did a movie called Thrashin', and then they were like hanging out with like Basquiat and Andy Warhol. Like he said, he goes, I didn't know who these people were. He was like 14 years old. He doesn't know who anyone was. But then when he did the movie, like they were inviting him to parties and stuff, and they were young, like kids. But I went to parties. Robin Williams, I was part of his entourage when I was 14 and 13 years old. And that's crazy. But you know what? He never did drugs in front of me. He was my chess partner. He used to play chess with me at this club. And so, and I did a series with him. He was
Sorry.
a pilot.
Sorry to interrupt. Spencer wants to come in. Can I send him the link?
Yes, I know a lot of people.
He just needs the link. I'm not sure how to.
Yes! Where is he?
Yeah.
Yay! Come on, Spencer!
No,
oh my God!
He's gonna hop on.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna come over to my house.
What's best for you, Sierra? Can I send his email to you or?
Spencer.
Oh shit! Cool.
I just put the link in the
Be
chat.
a nice little wrap
it
up.
that way.
Does he have him? You know what's weird is
You have a mustache.
Spencer had one just like what's weird is I hate it.
You do.
So.
You do.
I did it for Halloween, but
you do.
Yeah, I just
why did you have it?
Before this call, I did an audition as like a teacher and stuff. And I was like, I don't want to be a teacher with a mustache. Like it. I don't like it. But I'm letting this grow out and then. Yeah. Okay.
That's
I
funny.
just sent him the link, I think.
Okay. What are you doing, Pippin? Do you want to go? Do you want to go somewhere? You didn't say she.
Yeah.
You notice how she ignores you guys? She's like ignoring you. Just doesn't look at the
Sorry
camera.
for my absence earlier. My cat was going
I don't know why
crazy.
she does that.
But,
You don't want to look at that?
yeah, I told you about this cat, right, Olivia? It's new.
Why taking your back for so long?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I don't know. I
yeah,
can
that's
send
the
it to you.
cat.
Let me see.
Are you keeping the cat? It's your cat now.
Well, yeah, it's not like a dog. You can't just. But he was really
see
sweet
the cat.
before.
Stop bothering the
He just
cat.
knocked over a bunch of stuff.
Ah!
Oh.
And there's Pippin. There's Pippin. Pippin, why don't you look at the camera? You're so scared. She's scared. She didn't used to be, and she said because you got to see Barkville. Go to Barkville TV, youtube.com/Barkville TV, and you'll crack up. She's
I
amazing.
already subscribed. I'm watching all those tomorrow.
Okay, great. We don't have a lot of viewers because it was like a two-man show. We would shoot it and then promote it. I was promoting it, and I didn't know yet the tricks. And and now I do. I want to bring Barkville back. I have 6 months of content that still hasn't been shown.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I would like, and I always like meeting dogs, and I can I can work with them, you know. I can come and be on Bartville. Yeah, Bartville TV. Naked and Afraid, and Naked and Afraid was a joint production with the Jukin Media and Bartville TV.
On this podcast, we talk a lot about trying to get the most out of every day and maximize our potential so that we can spend time on things that we really love doing. With Instacart, you can save time and money by getting your groceries delivered right to your door in as little as an hour. With Instacart, you match up with personal shoppers that are local to your area so that they can do the shopping for you. You can add multiple stores to a single order to make sure that you get all of your favorite ingredients. Shoppers also pick out the freshest produce, and they keep your eggs safe, which has always been a huge issue for me personally when I'm trying to order from other grocery services. On Instacart, you can also see highlighted deals so that you can save your money and your time. So get to that passion project that you've been putting off and try out Instacart. If you click on the link in the show notes below, not only will you be supporting Grandpa and Chill because we know you love us, you'll also get free delivery on your first order over $35. So what are we doing here? Click on the link and try out something new.
You can tell that dog is
Where's
really your
Spencer?
best friend.
Yeah, she's like, no, she loves me. And I love her. She's the best. She's great. She's a very good girl, and she doesn't bite or anything. Like my last chihuahua, so I've had a few chihuahuas, like Jack Russell chihuahuas and another kind. But the last one, Taco Bella, she bit people sometimes, and that wasn't good.
That's an unusual mix.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Jack Russell.
Oh, welcome.
Look at there's Chad Spencer. Look,
Spencer.
Hey.
Welcome to the moon. How is everybody today?
Hello.
Wow.
How's it going, Spencer?
They're good.
Hello, Grandpa Fox. Nice to meet you. Your voice is legendary to me. This is the first time that I'm watching the show with video, but I've listened to many of the podcasts, and I'm very good friends with your grandson. We're very close collaborators, and we've become such special friends over the years.
Wow.
So it's a real
That's
pleasure
nice
to meet
to
you.
hear.
Yeah. Phines and Sierra, yeah, co-host, producer, yeah.
Hello.
Hello, Finest and Sierra. I've heard so much about you. I know Sierra, you're always organizing all these crazy interviews with everybody. It's very cool to see you and to meet you. And Finest, I hear about the great banter that you and Brandon Fox have. So really, really nice to meet you. And of course, Olivia and Pippin, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Very
We've been getting
today.
into it, just her whole life and what it's like growing up in Hollywood and all that, you know. It's been crazy, yeah.
Yeah, it's craziness.
Yeah. I've loved this
But
episode
now-
so far though, man.
Yeah, it's good. It's
Yeah,
been fun. And Pippin, I wish we could get Pippin to dub her voice, and when she does a Bartville is she talks. I have my friend's son thinks she really talks, like because he watches them. And originally, I was not going to do Bartville for kids. I mean, it was supposed to be, I wanted to do it on Adult Swim because they all the dogs swore. They did use curse words. And it was really dirty, and that's what I wanted to do. But then kids loved it, so I had to, had to do it for the kids. Maybe we'll have an Adult Swim version later.
Oh, I think Pippin's got a cotton candy clean mind. I can't imagine.
Cotton candy
Pippin
clean.
would never.
I can't imagine her cussing at the piss on the sidewalk. I think it's all.
No.
You know what? You know who was a cussing dog was the poodle. We had a large poodle named Elvis of Venice. He was a Venice dog, and he was Elvis of Venice. And Bartville started because of him. I cast him in the Fishbone video. I needed a dog. He looked like the guitar player. They had the same afro. They were excellent. And I put them both in glasses, and they were on the Ferris wheel. It was so cute. But then in the pilot, when he's introduced, Elvis is introduced in the sidecar of this Harley Davidson, and he starts talking, and he talks to and he's with this guy named Colonel Panders, and he talks to him. He goes, "Don't fuck this." Okay, I swear on her.
Yeah,
Can I swear on
think
this
I've
show?
said fuck.
Okay. He says, "Don't fuck this up, Panders." He goes, "Get the fish bones to sign the contract," and so he cusses the whole. He says the F word all the time, and people. I mean, and that's how I knew Barfield was going to be a hit, because every time that song came on, people would rewind it and watch it again and again and see him cuss.
Everyone loves to see cute things cuss. At least me.
Grandpa, cuss.
Olivia reminded me of the song "Sugar and Spice and Everything Nice" until.
Man, I thought Grandpa was gonna be like.
I know.
Yeah. Just waiting to be like, fuck. Yeah. Oh man, it's a family show, guys. Hey, Spencer, I just asked this question to Olivia, but what piece of advice do you have to young up and coming artists, as a very prolific up and coming artist yourself?
I think even still, I'm still working through this, but it was a much bigger thing in my life, even just a few months ago, and especially, a few years ago when you and I met. Brandon and I met probably, I don't know, close to a
decade. Yeah.
Close to a decade. So when I was in my early 20s, the amount of pressure that I put on myself to create something great, something big, right? And I'm still, this is what I'm working on right now. But it's definitely not as pressurized as it once was, but to make something humongous and giant, and I gotta make this masterpiece. And if I don't do it, I'm going to be a failure.
Right.
And that type of pressure, has only been paralyzing to me. I thought it was, an encouraging voice in my head that like, you can do better than that. And that's how it was for many, many years. I thought it was a productive thing. But I think only recently I'm realizing that type of pressure has only prevented me from, really seeing what's happening in front of me. It's taken me out of the moment. It's not allowed me to be present as a director, and it's frozen up so many potential projects because I'll be thinking up some like crazy idea about like a vampire family, and then I'm like, oh, for some reason a vampire movie's not, it's just these vampire movies not good or something, like I always come up with a reason why it's not good enough, and so that type of pressure has been uncreative for me. So I'm just trying to, I'm trying to loosen it up, but that's kind of a catch-22, right? I don't want to try too hard to loosen it up because then that just becomes more pressure. So I'm just taking things as they come these days, or at least I'm keeping my mind open to that.
Spencer, I've noticed in my lifetime where people, I've kind of been like you, where I won't go ahead with something because I don't think it's perfection or whatever. But I've seen people who have gone ahead with products, and I'm not talking so much in the acting field, but in other types of things, and they go ahead with whatever the project is, even though it's not as sophisticated as it should be, and they make a success out of it eventually. So sometimes you just have to, move ahead with things.
Yeah, I think that's really great advice. You never know what you can sculpt something into. You just have to get started.
Yeah, getting started is the hardest part, right? I mean, that's what same with my Buddhist practice, like everything, because I dropped it for a little while, and now getting started again, it's just like, and then once you do it, it's like, boom, you're in the pocket,
It's just mathematically, as soon as you get started, instead of having 100% of work to do, you have 95%.
Yeah.
And then you do a little bit more work, you have 87%, and it just gets easier.
You can't be like Humpty Dumpty and just,
That's right. You had to come apart. You can't come apart. You have to stay together.
Yeah.
You know, it's a big thing.
Olivia and Spencer, we always do final thoughts on the show right before we wrap up. We're getting to that time.
Oh, no.
But I would love to hear, Spencer, your final thought of the last 8 minutes of your life.
Well, it was really nice to just talk about what we talked about, right? You know, it felt clarifying, you know, because it's kind of the big thing I'm working on right now. But I like the idea of, you know, I see these 6 squares in front of me. This is an alliance. This is an alliance of a lot of very powerful people, and I think it's a special thing just to, you know, ultimately to not go through this all alone, right? That there's a community and be a team here. So it's really cool to see everyone here together.
Finest.
Yeah. My final thoughts. Spencer, I got a bone to pick with you. You came in here saying all these nice things to people. Didn't give me any information to dig off on you to give you nice things. Besides that you're a very nice person, and the fact that you have self-awareness enough to see some of your faults is like, I guess the start of the route. I guess, you know, acceptance is the key, and that's the first route. So you're probably on the right track. But you know what? I'll do some research on you because I got more compliments. You gave me too nice. You know, I got a vendetta. I got something. I got a bone to pick.
Well, we got Brandon and I have made a lot of movies together, and you can check out some of the stuff we've made in the past. But Brandon and Olivia and I made a movie together this summer that's currently being edited. So that's a big, fun, very strange, and I think surprisingly funny movie.
Have you seen any of Olivia and I's scenes yet?
I've organized everything and skimmed through, but I'm still piecing together that initial encounter between you two, because that was one of my favorite days of shooting.
It was insanity. Yeah.
What is the name of the movie, and where would we see it, on YouTube or whatever?
The name was concocted by Brandon, and it's called The Legend of Mickey.
The Legend.
I didn't know it had that. I didn't know that. I thought it was just Mickey. Okay, good.
Brandon plays the role of Mickey in this film, and this is his story. And the scene that we're talking about, it's when our hero come down from the mountains to save the evil, corrupt city, meets Olivia, and Mickey's wandering this green grass hill. You know, it's total. There's nobody around. It's just bright green grass, and at the top of the hill, there's these big, tall palm trees. And Mickey sees this like shiny throne at the top of the hill, and the sun is setting behind it. And Mickey's there, and he's looking real buff, and his hair is looking, and he's got his fighting gloves on, and he sees this beautiful woman sitting on this throne at the top of the hill, and he sees her, and he can't believe his eyes, and he starts running and running and running, and he gets uphill, and then there's Olivia on her throne with none other than Pippin on her lap, and Olivia is wearing this kimono, this turquoise kimono, and Pippin's wearing this you got a pink tutu on Pippin that day, and Olivia's there, and you know, Olivia plays Spit Spark, the leader of a very, at that point, mysterious but soon revealed to be sinister gang that she manipulates Brandon into. So it's the start of a very, you know,
you can be
a relationship that
Sierra, final thoughts.
Lots of thoughts now, but so glad that you guys could both come on the show. It was wonderful to hear from both of you. Pippin. I'm in love with Pippin. That's my final thought.
All right. Yay.
Grandpa.
I've enjoyed this podcast. Very interesting people. And,
Oh my gosh. It's really good, but it's really good to smile this much because I haven't smiled this much in a long time. And it's really good to be around people. Like I've been inspired by you guys. I feel inspired. I've not felt inspired too much either. I've been like, kind of like, but it's really great to talk with you guys and feel alive again. I think we're coming back to life. Pippin is doing something. She's like doing a balancing act. She on my knee. She's facing the camera though. She's almost looking at you guys.
Almost. I'll take it.
Yeah.
It was great seeing you both again. Thank you, everybody. That's our show, guys. Grandpa and Chill. Love you, Grandpa.
Good night. I love you too, Brandon. Good night.
Podcasting with Grandpa Bart and Rosie, always on his shoulder. This is Grandpa and Chill.
Grandpa and Chill is brought to you by your hosts, Brandon Fox, Bart Frank, and Phines Jackson. Our producer is Sierra Doss. You can find episodes old and new on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and more. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch the show, and follow us on Twitter for behind-the-scenes moments you can't get anywhere else.